One of the saddest retirement plans I ever encountered in my career. I'm going to share this with you because this really set me off on my journey to reduce taxes in the future, to pay the taxes while I got the money. And the reason I'm going through this exercise because I just spent a lot of money on taxes, man, a lot of money. I'm like, ugh. And the reason well, let me just share the story. All right, so another part of this. This is one of the reasons why I love bloggers who do financial planning stuff. If they're not in the business, and I cut myself, by the way. I don't know what I was doing. I just cut myself when I was in the shower. I think I was washing myself. I scratched myself. If they're not in the business and they just do it blogging on financial planning topics without actually having dealt with customers, they have a different, they don't have the same perspective. They just don't, man. I don't know. I mean, and that doesn't mean they're bad. Doesn't mean they're doing bad things. They're ignorant. Ignorant just means they don't know. It just means they are ignorant about what the day-to-day lives of people are going through and the various scenarios that you come across when you're actually in the business. That's why I always have a hard time with some of these guys who, and look, I love bloggers. I love it when they share their success stories and failures. I love it. Sadly, that's just one case, though. And you always hear like, well, I did this and it worked out. Yeah, but that doesn't mean, see, I'm coming at it from a different perspective. I've dealt with thousands of clients over going back to 1998, and you see all these different things. And the story starts to tell itself what works and what doesn't. Anyway, so I'm going to share with you this case. I'll never forget this woman. So I used to work in New York City, and the tri-state area was my territory when I worked at USAA, which is why I had to move to New Jersey because they wanted me to cover closer to my territory as opposed to flying in and out from San Antonio. I had this lady in Chatham, New Jersey, a retiree, single, a divorcee, living in Chatham, New Jersey in a condo. Real nice lady. In fact, I met her for the first time, and she was probably 82 back then. This is in 2010, 11, something like that. She's probably dead now. I'll never forget when she came to my office. She looked great. I said, I'm not gonna say her name, of course, but it's like she no way she looked like she's 82. I was like, and it wasn't because she got plastic surgery. She just kept herself fit. I'll never forget that. And it's funny because that same afternoon, later on that afternoon, another lady came to my office who's only like in the late 60s, and she looked horrible. I was like, the difference. And I remember these two women like it was yesterday. I remember their names and everything. The one who was like late 60s looked like she was in the late 80s. The one who was the early 80s looked like she was in the early 60s, if that makes sense. It was just weird. And I said, it was just odd to me. I'll never forget that. Anyway, point being, the lady was 82, lived in a condo in Chatham, New Jersey. Let me just share with you some ideas here. So here we got Chatham, New Jersey. I just looked at condos. And I remember exactly where it was. I can't remember. I mean, I don't remember exactly where it was. I remember, but it was a building condo. But here's a condo for $550,000, and that's in Madison, New Jersey. Actually, I think my sister lives close, or she used to work close there. But I want to show you something here. So here's 2-bed, 1-bath. This is not where this woman lived in, but I just want to show you something. 2-bed, 1-bath. Nothing fancy there. Probably 1,000 square foot or something like that. But I just want to look at the property tax. Yeah, right there. $9,000 in property tax. Eesh. All right, so let's look at a different one because there's a reason I'm showing you this. Yeah, she lived in a building. This is probably, it wasn't Summit though, it was Chatham. But anyway, just give an example again. She lived in a building. I remember back then it was worth $550,000, and we're talking almost 15 years ago. So give an example of property taxes here. This is a 2-bed, 1-bath, a 3-bed, 2-bath. I think she had 2-bed, 1-bath. But anyway, just give an example. Right there, $1,700 a month in property tax, and that's in Summit. And Summit's pretty hoity-toity. But anyway, point being was this woman had about $800,000 in her IRA, all IRA, and she had a mortgage. All right, she had a little bit of equity, not much, a little bit, a couple $100,000 of equity, but there wasn't much she could do. Maybe even that. She was under the assumption the markets will outperform her mortgage, and it may, but not when you factor taxes. And she was paying USA like 1.5, and I put her in just index. I said, "Stop, man." Yeah. All right. Anyway, so what happened is that she wanted to try to sell her condo because it was too expensive. All right, and the property tax was like $15,000 a year. Her mortgage was another couple $1,000s a year. So between her housing costs basically cost her about $40,000 to $50,000 a year. I'll never forget this. And she had a small pension from some pharmaceutical company up there. It wasn't much, maybe less than $1,000 a month. She was on Social Security, but it's a single woman making, maybe 2,300 in Social Security plus her pension. So basically, she's getting about $3,500 a month of guaranteed income. That didn't even cover her property tax and her mortgage. And then don't forget homeowners, condo fees too, by the way. So let's take a look at this guy right here. We'll look at, I don't know, this probably won't have much of a condo fee. Let's just double check. It's got a condo fee on here. I mean, condo fees are freaking through the roof. So you got homeowners insurance, but then you got condo fees. Let's see. Let me pause real quick. There's a condo fee of $611 a month, and this is on $1 million condo in some New Jersey. Again, but she wasn't that far removed from that. And then you just look at property tax again. This guy's $5,600 a year. But anyway, the point being was with her condo fees, her mortgage, her property taxes, she was paying like $40,000 to $50,000 a year, and just her home, and she didn't have that much equity. And she liked to go to the city once a week, twice a week. She liked being up there, man. And it's just like so she had to come up with $50,000 a year just to maintain her housing, and she didn't have a whole lot of equity, not enough to take a reverse mortgage. And the point being was, you're sitting there thinking, okay, so now she has $800,000, but she's gonna have to pull that money out. I think I want to say I had 88,000 a year is what she needed to live on. So basically 50, I think is what it was. Basically 50,000 a year for housing, roughly 3,000 a month for other things. All right, so it's something like 88,000 a year. So of her 88,000 a year, she's only getting 30, what did I say, 35, what we say, we got about 2,300, about 36,000 from Social Security and pension. So she needed 50,000 from her portfolio. All right, well, if you're single, check this out. Oops, click on New Jersey, and we're going to say she has 35,000 from Social Security. It was not 35,000. We'll say 25,000 from Social Security, 50,000 from her IRA that she had to pull out, and she's single. And we're gonna say she had a pension of I don't know, $1,000 a month or something like that. I can't remember what it was. We'll just say $1,000 a month. All right. And then we're gonna enter. So yeah, $87,000 a year. So she wasn't paying that much in New Jersey state income tax. Yeah, it looks pretty good. But what was she paying? $7,000 in income tax for the feds as well. And sometimes that $87,000 wasn't enough, so she had to take more from her portfolio, $75,000. You see what I'm saying? And now at $75,000, the point being is the more she needed to take from her portfolio, the more taxes she had to pay, and the more she's depleting her portfolio. I don't think she's 82 now, but I think she was in her 70s, actually. I wonder if she's still around. Hold on a second. She's still around, so she's 87 years old now. So I was working with 77. And she's taking $50,000 to $60,000 from an $800,000 portfolio. That's a 7.5% distribution rate. Now, in of itself, that doesn't bother me too much. I don't think it was worth $800,000. I think it might have been worth less, because I just remember that I was like sitting there thinking, more she has to, because she had to do some stuff. I'll never forget it. She had to do some stuff in a kitchen to try to sell the condo, because that's the thing about living in a condo. All the other condos look the same, man. You see what I'm saying? So if one condo says, I'm going to undercut you by 20,000, you're not going to sell your house for 20,000 more. Just not going to happen. She sold her condo in March of last year. Now, I don't know, maybe she's not even alive. I don't know. I'm not going to do too much, but she's 87. She sold her condo for $550. She bought it for $440 in 2004. So last year, in 2020. So I assume that she died. I don't know, but I remember her mortgage was, she had no equity, none. But she had huge sold her condo for $550 in 2020, Her property taxes were almost $10,000 a year on top of the fee, a homeowner's fee. And I couldn't find out what her condo fee was. It was probably $500 a month. And so that's why I say I'm paying the taxes now while I got the money. As much as painful as it is, I don't want to be in her position. Her position was the more she needed, the more taxes she had to pay, which meant the more she had to pull from retirement accounts, which means the more likely that retirement account was not going to survive her, if that made sense. And frankly, she got lucky that she happened to, the last 10 years were boom day. You know what I'm saying? It's just freaking, you could plant a freaking nickel in the ground and it grow to $1 billion over the last 15 years. She got lucky. That's not going to happen the next 10 to 15 years. I mean, it could, but if you're anticipating that, I'd be like, what the hell are you thinking? Anyway, I'll just never forget. I don't think I think I'm way even overestimating how much she had. I just remember the doomsday is like, I could hear it in her voice. She's like, Josh, what if? I said, I know. You're going to have to sell your home. She goes, but I can't just sell and move. There's no place. I mean, I don't have, she was stuck. Anyway, so I hope she's still alive. I hope she didn't. I don't know if she did. I don't know. I don't want to look at that. But I hope that if she did sell the condo, it was because she wanted to, not because she was forced to, because she couldn't afford it anymore and she ran out of money. It's just sad. All right, well, there you go. That's one of the stories I got that I guarantee you a lot of the bloggers will never have dealt with. Now, they might have dealt with their own family. I get it. The nice thing about being a professional is you see this you see you're looking around, man, your head's on a swivel. You get to see all these different experiences that real people have had. Unlike you're just, anecdotal evidence of just you and your parents or your girlfriend's parents or something like that. You actually see, because this is what I do for a living. I've been doing it for a long time. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. Yeah, so God bless. That's still break. I'll never forget that. Just her level of defeatism. I remember it just, I said, I'll never be like that. I don't want to have a mortgage. I don't want to have IRA money, because I want to make sure at the end of the day, when things get tight, I can tighten up my belt. You cannot tighten up your belt if you have mortgages and you have IRA money, because you have to take money out. You have to pay the tax. You have to pay the property tax. You have to pay the condo fee. You got to pay your mortgage. There's no tighten your belt if you have all that debt. And you do owe debt to the IRS if everything's in an IRA. All right, we'll see you guys.